And I want to welcome everyone back to the Very Meaningful podcast. This is episode 2, and we have a very special guest. I think all of our guests are special. This week we have Travis Egedy, aka Pictureplane. We had a great conversation about almost everything, and I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. So let's get right to it. Let's call him. Yo.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, dude?
What's up? What's up?
So for people who don't know who you are you, Travis?
Well, I'm Pictureplane, and I'm an artist and musician living in Brooklyn, New York.
And you're originally from New Mexico, is that correct?
That's where I grew up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, yeah. And then I moved to Denver and art school there, and lived in Denver for a long time, about 8 years.
So how was growing up in New Mexico? Because I don't really know that much about New Mexico except for the fact that it's one of the states, you know. not much to really know there, except I just know that it's called New Mexico.
I'd say it is a mysterious state to people. Not a lot of people know much about it. You know, I remember growing up there, and telling people that I lived in New Mexico or something. They thought that they assumed that I would be Mexican, or that I lived in Mexico or something. It's really weird. You know, it was like 1 million people in the entire state. It's very sparse. It's a really poor state. There's a lot of poverty there. But it's super beautiful and special there. Northern New Mexico, that region of the country, it's just really ancient and spiritual there, and has this really incredible history, big Native American influence there, and it was a fascinating place to grow up.
Now, how did you know that you wanted to become an artist? Because there's certainly a point when you choose to become an artist. You choose to go down that path. You choose to take the risk. So whatever it takes to become one.
I always wanted to be an artist of some kind. I knew that I wanted to go to art school at a young age. But I mean, it took, I guess, what really helped me be really set on that path of just like, I think becoming an artist, it's a lot of like risks and leaps you have to take, like a real leap of faith to just start to say, fuck it, I really want to go after art. Because society doesn't really make that very easy for you. So I think me living inside of a DIY warehouse in Denver, a place called Rhinoceropolis, I think that really showed me the way that it is possible to live a life of art. And yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's quite the risk to become an artist. Like, you're really giving away almost everything you have to go down the path of just doing this full time. Like, there are moments where I had to live in a closet. There are moments where I have no money. Like, there's moments even still to this day where I don't have any money. But it's what I love and it's what I want to do. So I think at the end of the day, it's all kind of worth it, you know? It's all worth it to become the person you want to be. And so that's what I would say.
For years in Denver, you know, I was so poor, that I was, eating out of the dumpsters and, dumpstered food, and, maybe working like a part-time job, like a few days a week or something just to pay my rent. But, spending all my hours making art and music. And I was, super happy just doing that. I was never about making money or anything. It was just doing it strictly because I had to, and it was a passion thing. But yeah, I was as hell.
Yeah, it's painful to kind of take on corporate jobs when you're when you're just trying to do what you love, because it seems like every day kind of kills you inside a little bit more. Like doing the menial tasks, and so going about that kind of business every day. Um, it's certainly pretty difficult.
Same with me. It's terrible working for other people, or working shitty jobs that are. It's demoralizing as an artist.
Yeah, I've had a job at Target so before, and it was pretty. It's almost like a cult because they have all these weird rules and the whole khaki dress code and all that stuff. And then I worked at a Mac store for a bit, and like that was fun because I like to work with electronics, but that's about it.
I've never worked a corporate job before. I remember once I had an interview to work at Starbucks a long time ago, and they were like, "How well do you respond to authority?" They asked me that, and I was like, "Well, to be honest, I was like, not really good." And I didn't get hired. I didn't get the job.
Yeah, so that kind of corporate culture is what really pulled me away from wanting to work in a normal job. I mean, now that really think about it, um, I did work at a law firm, which was kind of exciting because I got to kind of do my own thing, so be my own person. But that wasn't really a corporate job. But working in a corporate environment drains you every single day, because just the culture, like the culture is poison, and especially for a person who does art, the culture is so fucking poisonous and draining. And I've already used those words, but that's what that's what it is. Um, that it's hard to keep those jobs, and
Humans aren't supposed to work like that. I don't think. I mean, going to a 9 to 5 every day of like something that you don't enjoy doing, it's really crushing for the human spirit, I think. And we're not designed to work like that. I don't think it's not natural, but we still do it.
and we seem to really have to do it only because we want to pay our bills and pay our rent. I mean, we really don't want to do it really as people who are so creative types. We want to stay as far away as possible from that stuff. But anyways, so I on my podcast right now, I'm asking people what they thought about the year of 2016, because it didn't really get a good rap, and I just want to see what you think about that, and think about the year. And
There's a lot of intense, like huge shifts last year. A lot of death, a lot of change, a lot of hard change.
all we can hope for is a better current year. So what do you want to do in this year, in the year of 2017? Like, what are your goals for this year? Well, what do you want to get done? What do you want to do?
Well, personally, I want to just create more. I want to collaborate more. I want it to be a really musical year. I want to record a lot of stuff, make a lot of new songs. I'm going to put out a new EP this year. And I want to, just make music with friends, and really try and create some passionate and good art this year. Because I feel like that's the best weapon that we have for these crazy times, is to just make good work, lasting work. I want to, make more of a mark this year.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us feel like as artists, we want to make a mark this year and really go against what's happening in the political spectrum.
It's true.
Because it's quite confusing, like what's really going on out there when it comes to politics.
I'm really, I have no predictions this year. Like I'm really sort of bewildered a bit and confused at the political climate. To me, it's really hard to foresee what's going to happen this year. think I think it could get really bad. I mean, they're already talking about, on day one defunding Planned Parenthood. They're like, it could get really crazy. I think of just like where we're shocked to see like how much they're taking away, and or like how powerful that they can get. Um, I think that we're in for a lot of surprises of just how powerful Trump is going to be, and it's going to get really weird, I think.
And it certainly got really weird already. The problem is that I have with the left, which I usually identified myself with for a long time, and recently I've been leaning towards the right wing, but not so much socially, because I don't think social issues have anything to do with politics at this point, besides the whole Planned Parenthood defunding stuff, which is horrible, and I don't approve of that. But I was holding a kind of controversial opinion that Trump isn't going to be the worst president. I have some sort of hope for him in some kind of bizarre, fucked up way, because he's the guy who came out of the left field, and nobody thought that he was going to become our president, and that's just fucking crazy. But that there's a guy who's not part of the political system who is now our president. And so I'm just gonna wait and see. I'm not gonna be scared. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm not gonna fight with people. I'm just gonna watch and see. And the left is pushing people away because everyone is at each other's throats. Like, there's this kind of like authoritarianism type of thing going on that I just do not approve of. I don't like this kind of policing that's happening.
In my opinion, that's how the right started to get really powerful, is that they were unified, and on, you can call it the left side, I guess, in the more liberal side, there's so much infighting and like confusion about, who's saying the right thing, like what type of language you're using, like, all of this tiny infighting, that it's completely fractured and splintered, and it allowed the right wing and the alt-right to get really powerful because they're all unified, and the left is just in ruins and really shattered right now. No one knows how to agree on anything.
And that's what I constantly saw, was people that I used to look up to politically, and people that I thought were very intelligent and all that jazz, were just fighting constantly and at each other's throats, not making any progress, really. I mean, it's not like they're doing much here. They're not even building up their own party. They just keep fighting each other over dumb stuff, in my opinion. I mean, it may not be dumb to them, but it's dumb to most people. So
yeah, no, it's a huge reason why the right got so popular. People they resent this era that we've created of it, like identity politics, and like, where everyone is a victim, and like, I think it's really boiled over to the fact that so many people are annoyed and they're wanting to take the power back, and that's what we're seeing right now. It's like a total pendulum swing the other way, of just like it got too politically correct, and it alienated so many people, and it enraged a lot of people.
Yeah, that was how I kind of saw it too, because the left refused to even have a conversation with anybody from the right wing side of things, if you want to call it that, because most of the time everyone would just shout somebody down if they had a fucking opinion that's even slightly different. Now, if you are right leaning and you try to explain your feelings to somebody who is a leftist, that's not even a conversation that anybody is trying to have, and that's shitty. That's awful. It sucks.
Yeah. How do we start talking to each other? I mean, and when was the last time you sat down with like some super far right person and just sort of
And just hashed it out.
yeah, it's rare. I'll live in bubbles. It is crazy though. Like I'm worried about the normalization and of like the alt right language and stuff that they're wanting us to meet them halfway, but it's like no, like they're actually fucking racist and sexist and homophobic and shit. Like we shouldn't people shouldn't have to tolerate that shit. Like it's I agree that lots of people are disagreeing about things right now and there should be some sort of dialogue and compromise, but you can't I can't meet like a fascist halfway and be like, oh well, I can't, agree to disagree. Like, no, their views are really toxic and poisonous, and it's dangerous.
I mean, I'm not sitting here and saying that I'm gonna get down with the Nazi and just roll with what a fucking Nazi has to say, or like a white supremacist or anything like that. But there certainly needs to come a time where we get together and actually talk about what's going on. So rather than being so split up like this and so wanting to fucking kill each other, do you think that that's ever gonna happen? Like, do you think that's coming where we actually become unified?
I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I think a lot of the huge part of the extreme division in our country, I do think a lot of it is by design. I think that the government was very scared of a unified populace. The more that we are fighting and battling, over what's even real, or all these issues like that, abortion and gay marriage and all this stuff that is just a nonstop debate or whatever. It's just non-issues that are designed to keep people fighting forever. And it's all about distraction and causing chaos.
Yeah, I feel like those kind of issues, such as gay marriage and other ones that are similar, are just there to kind of keep our minds preoccupied, to keep us away from what's really happening. To switch over to another topic, it's quite a sad topic, but back in December, we had a fire here in Oakland. It was at a little do-it-yourself spot called Ghost Ship, and since then there's kind of been a war on punk and do-it-yourself spaces. It seems like a lot of these spots have been targeted and so closed down, and it's quite surprising to me. But at the same time, I've been kind of watching it happen here in Oakland for a while. So what do you think about that?
Well, the spot I used to live at in Denver, Rhinoceropolis, was shut down. It got shut down about a week after the fire went, and I do think that there is a connection. I think alt-right people tipped off the fire department and police there, and got it shut down. And it's really tragic. That's my home there, and I took the news really hard when I heard that happened. I got really mad because once our country starts turning on itself and we start attacking art and artists, something's really wrong. Most of the public, the thing with the Ghost Ship fire is a lot of the public had never seen a place like that, or they're like, why would people be in a warehouse? Like, why were they living there? Like, who are these people? It's like it's shined a light on an underground that many people didn't even know existed, you know. And to us, it's our life, it's our community and stuff. But a lot of people were completely unaware that this existed, you know, so they therefore don't understand it at all, and so they just want to shut it down, you know, because it's not legal or whatever, you know. And it's just a huge misunderstanding, and it's scary, you know. The public doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, you know. I did a lot of interviews with people and publications and like news media about Rhinoceropolis shutting down, and the reason I wanted to do that was just to, you know, for public awareness really, and to tell people how important these places are, you know, that it's not just like some drug den rave, you know, of like, they have cultural value. Like, these are important places for cities, and you can't shut them all down. You know, it's
Yeah, so that word constantly came up. So when this ghost ship reporting stuff was happening, the word rave
yeah,
was used so much in almost every publication. I remember reading a Daily Mail article that was like, blah 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 died in a rave in Oakland. I'm like, this is the word completely wrong, and it's a loaded word at that. And once you start closing down all these spots, we don't have anywhere else to really play. There's nowhere to really play
yeah.
in Oakland now except a bar, and nobody wants to play a bar because they have awful sound and just everything that's attached to a bar. It's not a art space. It's not the same thing.
Or that every single place that hosts shows and stuff, it is some super dangerous like tinderbox waiting to go up in flames. I think that's another misconception, that every DIY space is somehow super dangerous or something, and that's not true either. You know, Rhinoceropolis had always passed fire inspections, and for it to just be shut down, you know, and a lot of people in Denver, even, they're like, oh, you know, it's for this is about safety, it's for their own good, you know. It's like, well, the place was not unsafe, you know. It wasn't like the ghost ship, which actually was unsafe, and that's part of the huge tragedy, you know. That's why so many people died. It's really terrible, and it could have been prevented, you know, and that's what people are learning. And but you can't shut down every DIY space because something like this happens, you know. It's just really sad.
And it was definitely a thing that shook us all up here in Oakland. We didn't know what the fuck was happening. I remember waking up and going on my Facebook and being terrified for all my friends and calling all of them. It was just terrifying. It was just
You
terrifying.
know that I went out to Oakland and performed at a memorial. That was a really incredible experience, and you know, because the fire really affected me super personally, having lived in a DIY space for so long, and you know, as a touring musician, and you know, those are the places that I play in and that I like to go hang out at and stuff. And you know, it could have been any of us in there. And when I got called to, these people hit me up asking if I would play this memorial for a girl that was a fan of my music, and I said yes immediately. I wanted to go and be a part of that grieving process out there, and just sort of show my solidarity with Oakland, and you know, let them know that it's not just Oakland that's grieving. It's everyone.
Yeah, it seemed that the whole nation was a little taken back by what happened in the fire, and there's really not much I can really say about it besides it's the saddest thing that could possibly happen. And on top of that, we are losing all of our spots to play, which is just going to create more dangerous situations, I think, because honestly, I'm from the Bay Area. I'm a Bay Area native, but as every day goes on, I'm worried about how I'm going to pay rent, how I'm going to live here, because it just keeps on going up every single year. Rent keeps on going up. There's nowhere to really live anymore. I mean, I live in Concord, which is outside of Oakland, but it's still expensive. It's still super expensive. And don't even think about even moving to Oakland, because because Oakland right now is the second most expensive place right now to live in. So,
It's not just Oakland. It's a huge nationwide change. All the cities are changing really quickly. It's like a massive gentrification wave in most big cities in America, and the rents are doubling and tripling in every city now. Um, it's a nationwide phenomenon.
and it kind of leaves us a little powerless just sitting back here and watching it happen. But I don't know. I tend to go with the mindset that we have to stay positive and keep our heads up, and hopefully things will get a little better and rent won't go up as much, and we'll be able to live where we want to and where we can work and where we can be creative, you know.
Well, it's good to stay positive and optimistic. I don't really have high hopes for the Trump era. I think I've already seen a massive change in just the past month since the election. Of just like really weird change in the atmosphere of the country, and already we're seeing changes happen and shifts happen, and it's just crazy. So I don't know what is in store even for the first year. This year is going to be really, we're going to see some shit go down. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Now, this is a little bit of a weird question, but what do you see that's going to go down?
I'm worried that there's going to be like another big terrorist attack or something, because makes me say that is that that would just be perfect for Trump and the whole administration. He'd be like, "See, I told you so," and then they would be able to, just like after 9/11, roll in all these new laws, all this, you know, it'd be a total excuse to go to war. Make beef up the military, do everything that they want to do. A terrorist attack would be very convenient for Trump. It would give him tons of power. I feel that coming or something. It's crazy.
I mean, so that's practically fucking like every neocon's wet dream, right? At this point, is to have some sort of terror attack so they can pass a bunch of legislation on us, right? Like, that's the absolute worst possible thing that could happen. Anyways, let's move it on to another less impossibly hard topic to talk about. Do you have any plans to tour this year?
Well, I just was on tour in the November. I was on tour with The Faint, which was really cool for like a month.
Sick.
Yeah, it was fun. And I think I'm going to Europe in March, actually, to do a tour there, a couple weeks, which is exciting. But my focus right now is to be finishing these songs I'm doing for this EP. It's like I got about 5 songs, so maybe 6. It's going to be like a mini album or something. But I still have a lot of work to do on that. I have to write a lot of lyrics and just record these songs, basically.
So that's pretty hype, because we haven't heard a new Pictureplane album in how long has it been?
My last record came out a year ago.
Yeah, so hearing new music from you is definitely going to be something special, because you're always on the cutting edge of doing new shit and doing new things with your music. I've always really liked that about you. And
yeah, this is gonna be some new shit. I'm always experimenting and trying out new things, and my influences are always changing, and yeah, it's just fun. I never try to do the same thing twice.
Well, it's about that time to pack it up and set the ship out to sail. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here, Mr. Travis Egedy?
I don't know, not really. Shout out to all people out there, and I want to just help us all spread more love and light this year. That's all we can do. The world needs artists real bad right now, so gotta take it upon ourselves to just make some great work.
And I want to give you a big hug, and a big shout out for coming on to the show and being a part of the second episode of the Very Meaningful podcast.
Sure.
It's been fun.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Keep it up, and make some cool shit this year. I'll be on the lookout. I've always loved your music.
Hey, thank you, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right, thanks, man. Bye.